All right, let's admit it. My style kind of is chopped. And so, fortunately, I posted a whole bunch of fits on the internet. And so I can kind of look back, see what I did wrong, and hopefully fix it. And I think I can fix it. So, this video is less of me telling you what to do to fix your style, but more of me kind of eviscerating myself on the internet, picking apart my own mistakes. And hopefully, if you can relate to some of these mistakes, then you can see yourself in me, I guess, and fix it. And so that's what I'm pretty much going to do is essentially tell you why I feel like my style's been chopped and how I'm going to fix it going forward. So some of my biggest style mistakes, honestly, aren't super huge, but they're so crucial and fundamental. It ended up making a big difference, honestly. If you're not a subscriber, welcome to the channel. If you are a subscriber, welcome back. Hit that subscribe, hit that like, all that stuff, comment in the comment section, all that stuff helps. Let's get right into it. So I think one of my first mistakes is, well, I like to call it stick to the program. I did not stick to the program. And so what I mean by that is I feel as though when someone is stylish, they have a certain look, I guess. And that doesn't mean you have to shop from one specific brand. You don't have to just do Capital. You know, if you're a Uniqlo guy, you like minimalism, you don't have to just do like Uniqlo or COS or whatever. I think what that means is I think stick to like a certain aesthetic or certain like way of doing stuff. That's kind of what style means literally. It's just the certain way in which you do something. That's your personal style. So I think there's lots of different brands that you can kind of like grab pieces from, but like still stick within like a certain, I guess, idea. And so I think some of the things that has helped me when I have put together some of my better outfits is I stuck to a certain color palette. And this doesn't mean that you have to just wear all black, right? I think it's important to kind of go outside of your comfort zone sometimes, but also understand, why you like what you like. Do you like the comfort of being concealed in all black? Well, you can wear purple, and there's different shades and tones and hues of purple. But maybe you like a more powdery, washed out purple rather than just a straight up like velvet sheen, purple, something really shiny and crazy. And then maybe you might like the very shiny, velvety, sateen like, purples, reds, or whatever. But whatever you like, I think there's a certain like range of colors. And then once you go outside that color range, there's a certain range of like tones and hues. Also, sometimes I think the best way I can describe this is like sometimes things don't vibe together. Like if an outfit is composed of different designers, it's not that it can't, go together. I'm wearing Levi's, Bottega Veneta, and I have a Capital jacket I wore earlier, right? And I think all that went together, and I've got like a double RL belt, right? Those things are kind of like existing somewhere in the same like space, but they do have their own distinct like looks to them. It's just really about picking out those specific pieces, which leads me into my next thing. Like, you can't have everything. And that's a big thing. Like, coming from sneaker culture, hypebeast, consumerism, like, you kind of feel like you have to have everything. Just really quickly, if you were into fashion in the last 10, 15 years, you got inundated with like all the pickup videos, all that stuff, right? And it kind of made you feel like you had to keep up, but you can't keep up with these people. These people are going to debt or have massive, unlimited credit cards, and they're making money from these videos. You can't keep up with the pickups, guys. You can't. I can't go $60,000, Chrome Hearts one day and then $20,000 Supreme next day. I can't. I don't have the finances for that. Most of you don't. Most people who post on the internet can't afford that. But what I'm saying is, I think that sticking to the program goes very well with the next thing, which is you can't have everything. Because if you realize you can't have everything, you shouldn't have everything, it makes it easier to sort of stick to a certain like range of clothing because you get very, very selective. You have to buy it intentionally. And honestly, if you have a lot of money and you don't buy intentionally, sometimes your style doesn't necessarily look the best. Like, one thing I'm guilty of is trying to get all the things that I like just because I like them, which leads me into my next point. Sometimes you have to, well, you know what? There's no better way than to say just buy intentionally, honestly. That's a point in and of itself, buy intentionally. You don't need to impulse buy. Every conversation about impulse buying always leads back to the impulse. And the impulse is something you got to control. I'm not going to lie. Because sometimes you feel like, you're going to buy something, it's going to go, but it doesn't go. Like, it doesn't fit your aesthetic, but you like that piece. And you have to realize, again, like I said, you can't just buy everything. You can't have everything just because it's nice. You can have it, but like, what's the purpose? If you're not going to look nice in it, if you're not going to feel comfortable in it, then there's really no purpose. And I am really guilty of trying to like fall into a bunch of different style categories. As an American, I think that's what we do as a Westerner. And then when you go to like Asia and Japan, they kind of have a very like more selective like range of styles. They just don't have our philosophy of like get everything from every brand. That consumerism philosophy, it's there, but it's like different. I don't know if that makes sense. Reggie Casual is a great person to go ask about this type of thing, or just watch his videos. He explains it better than I do. But for sure, like that whole like I gotta have it, that hype beast, that real brain, that TikTok brain, because it's still here. That pickup video, pickup content, it's like kind of died down. But the whole outfit videos of get ready with me's, that's still pretty much pickup content, because you'll notice people will have a different item every week, and it's like that's not sustainable. But even more crazy are like the people who have like different styles and have full fits in those different brands and styles. And it's like they're all over. Like Wisdom K is one. Like they're all over the place style wise. And there's still sort of like a commonality between like how they put each fit from each style category together. But overall, it's kind of like they have like the Saint Laurent look, the Chrome look, the Rick look. And it's like most people can't actually do that not all of it. You know what I mean? And even if you know how to put the fits together, it's like, again, let's go back to the origin point, which is, can you even afford that? And if you can't afford it now, then maybe if you keep doing that, you won't be able to afford it later. So that's kind of a big thing there. But here's another thing, right? Mentality. I think the way you dress has a lot to do with your mentality, the way you feel and think inside. Here's something real vulnerable, right? I've got an anxiety disorder, and I feel like a lot of times that bleeds into other aspects, like specifically with fashion. Like that's one part of my life, one area of my life where, I guess the anxiety kind of bleeds into, because it turns into FOMO, like that fear of missing out. Like, oh, I gotta have this, gotta have that, or else. And it also kind of feels like, if I'm not buying something, I'm not progressing in this style journey. The best way to progress in your style journey, honestly, is to work with as little as possible and to figure out what would have upgraded the outfit. Like wear the same outfit for a few days and go, what would upgrade this outfit? And then buy that. That helps you buy intentionally, helps you stick to the program, and it stops the impulse buying, helps you buy intentionally. But anyways, the better you understand yourself and accept yourself, the better not just your style, but your life will be. But one thing I really realize is that my anxiety makes me feel like uncomfortable all the time, like fearful all the time. And I think that my style suffered because of that, because I really went towards an ultra, not just minimalistic, but a cleansed, like just kind of a nothing style. I don't post those outfits all the time, but that's what I wear out the house. Sometimes I'm like, why are my outfits so sterile? And I finally like wore something a little bit more kooky out of the box, but I still stuck to the program. I still had the color palette. It's still aesthetic. And I got a compliment actually. So I'm like, okay, that kind of paid off. So sometimes you do have to like get out of your comfort zone, but also you have to kind of realize why you're stuck in that comfort zone. Why are you stuck with this certain like mentality on how to dress? And sometimes you got to break out of that. And that really chopped my style a lot. Like having this very clean, sterile look isn't the same thing as Daniel Simmons's like minimalistic, adult core look. That's what we'll call adult core. So I think that, when I do step outside the box, I also try to like sanitize a look like Julius or like Rick Owens or something like that. That isn't supposed to be really sanitized. It's already sort of minimal enough in nature. And so everything, every detail is there. It's intentional. There's a reason. And if I take those details out, I kind of just have a boring outfit I could have got from anywhere. And so that's one thing. Last but not least, I would say, like, honestly, really gotta, like, and this is gonna sound cliche, you really have to just buy and wear what you like. And a lot of people say that, but at the same time, I think there's rules. I'm not one of those people that think fashion and art is so subjective. There's no objective point to go back. I think there's a lot of objective things like, okay, you just objectively don't look good in that outfit. It doesn't fit you well, something like that. I think that is real. And I think the fashion community needs to stop promoting this over sensitive, like, very like laissez-faire attitude. Like, don't tell someone what to wear. They can wear whatever they want. It's like, not everything looks good on everybody. But you got to understand why it doesn't look good, and then you need to adjust. Like, if you feel like cropped t-shirts don't look good because most of the t-shirts you wear that are cropped happen to be tight, maybe wear a loose cropped t-shirt. You can still kind of get away with it. Maybe the crop doesn't need to be so extreme. And that type of mentality will help you, like, I guess, branch out and wear cool stuff while still also understanding the fundamentals of why something may or may not look good on you or someone else. But at the end of the day, to draw back to what I was saying, if you don't actually genuinely feel comfortable in it, then you're not going to really wear it. You're not going to rock it. I can wear the same suit as you, and then if we both have the similar level of confidence, I guess, wearing it, it might read the same. But if I feel way less confident in that suit than you, even though that's just like a mentality thing, like that's not like a real factor messing up an outfit, it kind of like shows. And if I don't feel confident, I don't look confident, I don't do confident things, I don't act and speak confidently, it just kind of makes me less attractive. And so whatever I'm wearing by extension is going to look bad on me. It's kind of the same principle as like, you have a great outfit on, but you smell bad, you don't shave, don't have a haircut, you're not groomed. It's like the outfit can only do so much. Let's be realistic. All right, so what am I going to do to actually fix that stuff? I'm going to keep this part really short. I mean, honestly, I can sum it up and say I'm going to do the opposite of what I've been doing. But also, I think that I'll also be a little bit more receptive towards other people's style and way of dressing. Like, honestly, like realistically, I feel like I get a lot of inspiration from the internet, but I also need to get a little bit more inspiration from real life. Like, sometimes a photograph on the internet or a reel just doesn't do something justice, like a certain piece or a style, and I don't really get a feel for it until I see it in person. And that's more like, I guess that's a more realistic way to look at it. Like, this is how it's actually going to look. People watching, not in a weird way, but like, observe and see what's out there in the world. Last but not least, I'm going to wear more of my clothes. I'm going to wear more of what I already have. I'm going to be a lot more intentional with the stuff that I buy and stuff that I wear. But that's pretty much going to be it for the video. Thank you for subscribing. Of course, we'll meet again. If you want to see more outfits, go over to my Instagram, definitely. Thank you guys so much, and have a great one.